You want to know a fight that's kind of going under the radar, but it's Greg Hardy versus Tai Tuivasa. And I'm well aware this isn't some black belt, right? Put it in martial arts term. This isn't some black belt high level technique fight, but as far as two big guys getting in and going at it, oh yeah, this is going to deliver. As far as being able to predict ahead of time, this fight is not going the distance, not with any level of likelihood. Oh yeah, it's this one. And it's always tough to watch Tuivasa because if he wins, he does that shoey thing, where he takes some stranger's dirty, sweaty boot and he pours a beer in it. And when I heard about that, that's disgusting. That's the kind of thing that would make me vomit. That's really, really gross. But then when I saw it for my first time, so not only do you take the dirty, sweaty boot, pour some beer into it, right, with stranger's boot and another stranger's beer, and then you drink the damn thing, you then also spit in it. I can't remember if it's the stranger with the dirty, sweaty sock that taste is about to be in mouth, or if you spit your own spit into it, which the whole thing is just weird. I would think beating somebody on Saturday night in a professional sport is a pretty good way to get a date. In all fairness, it's going to be a pretty easy time to get some attention. Unless they saw you drinking sweaty boot, spit, used beer. I would just think the chances that you just got yourself, you just also leveled the playing field back out. I don't have a bigger point on it other than Tai Tuivasa seems like a perfectly nice guy. I've never met him. I've never cheered against him, but he's hard to cheer for because that's gross. You then have Greg Hardy. Now, Greg Hardy, without question, is the most improved fighter in MMA in the last 2 years. A year ago, he was the most improved. He's the most improved again. How did he get there? Well, he was very green when he started. He was very, very green. He was a big, strong guy. He had a couple of connections. He was green. It's easier to have growth, but to show the growth. Either way, he gets the award. Either way, if you think there's a backhanded compliment there, no, there's an explanation, but the award of most improved, yet again, goes to Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy has got my interest for nothing to do with Tai Tuivasa or the dirty, sweaty sock, no date topic that I just brought up. Greg Hardy hasn't even mentioned Tai Tuivasa. Greg Hardy will not quit mentioning Derek Lewis. Where is that from? Where is that from? Did these guys cross paths somewhere I don't know about? Is this purely competitive in their same division? Because I will tell you this, to throw Greg Hardy in there with anybody in the top 10 is not a wonderful idea. Except Derek Lewis. There is something about that on paper. There's some X's and O's into that fight where you could not just dismiss Greg Hardy's chances. No way. They fight very similar. They're two guys that can barely make the weight limit. They're rough and tumble former football players. They're now professional cage fighters. I realize that their paths are the same. Derek Lewis is much more polished. Don't get me wrong. I'm not speaking crazy over here. Derek Lewis is much more polished, but he doesn't use a lot of those skills and weapons. Derek stays on his feet with lefts and rights for the most part. If you get on top of him, you're probably not going to keep him down. He's a big heavyweight that used to have a hard time making the time limit, and now he's pushing pretty hard in that third round. Derek Lewis is a lot to deal with, but he does match up very interesting with Greg Hardy. I would think if I told you any top 10 guy, you're probably not going to see the distance with Hardy. Any top 5 guy, right? You for sure. It's just not going to be very competitive. Derek Lewis and Hardy is interesting for me. And we're kind of talking and meeting over here because those two just aren't going to get matched up. There's just too much separation in the rankings. But there's a reason that Hardy's going after Lewis, and it's got pretty nasty. I know some of the quotes, I'm simply not comfortable giving them to you. You'll have to go find those on your own. It's gotten pretty nasty. Derek's not going to take it. He has for now. Derek Lewis is going to respond, right? Poke the bear, believe me. Greg has poked the bear. Where is this going to go? And there's no Instagram follow out there quite like Derek Lewis. So is that how Derek's going to respond? Probably. But I can guarantee you Derek is going to respond.